Cars from Mercedes-AMG usually sound like this. We're going to have to start getting used to the quiet AMG. Now, yes, fine, a few of those already exist, but they've all been the opening act. This, however, is our first look at the main event. This is the AMG GT XX.
Mommy says I'm talented, I know that I can handle it. When I grow up, I'ma be a supermodel. Mommy says I'm talented, I know that I can handle.
When I grow up, I'ma be a supermodel.
Low slung, low drag, but high performance. The AMG GT XX is an electric, grand touring vision of the future that follows in the wheel tracks of cars like the C111. Even the sunset beam orange paint colour is a nod to that wedge-shaped supercar. Now look at these two letters, XX. That is the crucial part. This isn't some static show car that's going to spend the rest of its life on a plinth. This thing moves, and it moves at pace. While the EQXX was all about chasing efficiency and trying to achieve 1,000 kilometers of range on one charge, this is chasing performance and 1,000 kilowatts of power. All right, let's start at the front. We've got a very classic AMG grille here, vertical panels. There's a nice light bar all the way around it. The headlights also have speakers in them, which can emit sounds for passengers, but also can basically make the car rev if you really want to. If we move on to the wheels, they have aerodynamic inserts in the wheels. So the car can either prioritize brake cooling or aerodynamic efficiency. And then there are even details like this bioluminescent paint strip. It looks a lot like the AMG stripes, but it even tells you when the car's charging. It even tells you how much charge is left in it. Super clean shape, it's very low to the ground, super aerodynamic, there isn't even a rear window. And then it finishes with what's been nicknamed afterburner taillights. So yes, fine, it might not have an exhaust or more than one exhaust, but at least it sort of looks like it's got exhausts. And there's even a really cool pixelated graphic on the rear, which you can sort of show charging speeds and even show the AMG logo. Now, bear with me for a minute as things are about to get nerdy. AMG's engineers have managed that massive power figure using axial flux electric motors built into its new AMG EA platform. These motors are developed by YASA, a British-based engineering firm that Mercedes-Benz owns outright. In a conventional electric motor, the magnetic flux flows from the core of the motor outwards and around the edges. With an axial flux motor, the force flows through the core from magnet to magnet. That means axial flux motors are much lighter and significantly smaller, as well as being much more power dense. 3 are applied to the XX, 2 at the rear and 1 at the front, with AMG claiming they can develop more than 1,341 brake horsepower. That allows the GT XX to reach speeds of 224 miles an hour. And yes, I did say more than. 1 megawatt of power is just the start, with AMG's engineers saying even more can be extracted. It makes sense then that the batteries used to power the XX are also pretty serious. AMG is using cylindrical cells instead of pouch ones. Cylindrical cells are easier to cool, and AMG engineers say it's easier to package them, even if it's a more expensive configuration. The GT XX also has an 800-volt architecture, and AMG claims the battery technology is capable of extreme charging speeds. Bertram Shaman, head of high-performance batteries at AMG, told us the GT XX could charge at an average of 850 kilowatts, even pointing out that Mercedes had to create a new charging station capable of such extremes. Now, I'm not going to show you trying to get in because it's quite undignified, if I'm being honest, but when you are inside here, there are tons of really fascinating details. I mean, straight in front of you, you have a steering wheel, which is a lot like the one that you get on the AMG 1, for example. The center console has these really fascinating metal sort of heat sink details. The screens sort of wrap around the driver, so it doesn't matter about your passengers at all, frankly. And then even further along on the dashboard here, you've got these little bars that look like the grille strips on the front. And there's even a machined AMG logo as well. The 3D printed seat pads are upholstered using an artificial leather alternative that Mercedes has created using biotechnology, recycling used tyres from AMG GT3 race cars. Of course, some of these things we won't see on a real production car. That light-up strip down the door sill, or those aerodynamic wheel inserts, for example, aren't quite production ready yet. But all of that electric motor and battery tech is pretty much ready to go, and will make it inside the next generation AMG GT 4-door due in 2026. After that, AMG is making its own SUV due in 2027. Now, look, AMGs are almost always defined by their engines, but in a way, so is this. And let's be honest, AMG loves to rip up its own rulebook. I mean, it proved that it could make an F1 car for the road. It also proved that it's very difficult to do that. It proved that it could make a rocket ship out of the R-Class people carrier, and it proved that 50 years ago, it could make a red pig fly. The point is that while the next generation of AMG cars might be a lot quieter, AMG itself will never be silent.